To everybody out there. Jill here once again from my office this time. You can see the light coming in. You can see my beautiful green screen in the background. And yeah, here I am again to share another one of my top 10 podcasting benefits. So I'm going to just remind you all of the benefits that I've shared already. Number one was great conversations with people I respect. Two was you create a sacred space, a room of your own. Three is you develop skills and abilities across venues. Four is you make and you expand personal and professional connections. And number five, and probably what I'm going to talk about to some degree for the rest of the days, is you realize why your shit matters. And I think as I'm leading into the upcoming workshop, webinar, whatever I've called it, on February 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern, on the event on Facebook Live and Eventbrite, is why your shit matters. I think maybe I should talk about why I came up with this and what exactly I mean. So I guess I would consider your shit to be kind of like your shadow, all the stuff that you don't want to talk about, that you might not even be aware of. And particularly as a parent, a special needs mom, there's a lot of times that you're acting, you're in the moment, and you don't even know that you've got this shit that's all down there that you need to talk about, that really does matter. And if you don't, I think I want to share what happened to me. Is it gets really messy and really can damage your soul, and it's really hard to come back from that. And that's the people that I want to share this for, because I was you. And I still have my desperate moments, but I was you. I was that desperate person with my back up against the wall all the time, caught between a rock and a hard place. I think as special needs parents or people dealing with chronic illness, whether you're experiencing it yourself or you're a parent or a caregiver, you're in situations that aren't ideal. You're forced to make choices between a rock and a hard place. You're watching or you're experiencing suffering, you're experiencing trauma, and you might not even be aware that it is trauma. And it does something to you where you get to the point where you almost don't even care, because you've been hopeless for so long that you're practicing an escape in place. You're looking for anything that gives you some just zest to stay alive, even if it's not the most ideal situation. And I feel like what happened to me is I kind of, not only was I a victim in my own story, which none of us are really victims, and I became, on the other side of that, kind of the bad mom. So I was living two lives in lots of ways. I was this mom, and I had these kids that were, that were challenging and wonderful, and I was making things work and looking, on the surface, everything looked good. I was taking care of them. I was getting them to their appointments. I was dealing with these huge, events of long seizures and emergencies all the time, making dinner, doing all these things, when really inside I didn't have anybody really to express that to, for many reasons. And that's a personal journey, and something that this podcast has helped me explore, and which I believe the act of podcasting, the process of it, sharing your experiences with another human and having them share their experiences with you, is quite validated. And it really helped me to realize that, wow, when I was listening to people talk about their experiences with chronic illness, with tuberous sclerosis, with autism, whatever they brought in that led them to cannabinoid medicine or psychedelic medicine, these people and these people meaning me, we've been to these desperate places, these dark nights of the soul. I did things that were just, seemingly unforgivable. I used my kids' meds. I pulled propofol out of a trash can when my daughter was having brain surgery and went to meet my boyfriend. I was not responsible financially. I caused some problems for my ex-husband with his business and his legal business. I became exceedingly dependent on alcohol. I bought drugs. I did it all. I did all these really damaging things at the same time as I was this, what looked like this amazing, awesome, self-sacrificing parent. So it was completely out of balance. And I knew that I knew that, I needed to survive. I needed to be alive in some way. And no parent should go through this, because coming back from this has been, I cannot even explain to you how hard it is in our society where, we are really programmed to seek everything externally. So without getting too abstract, anyways, that was my shit. I had to go back in and look at all these things that I'd done and find some self-forgiveness. And through the process of podcasting and communicating with other humans and letting this stuff slowly seep out, I found that I was able to go back and say, okay, yeah, well, these things happen, and here's why. And this medical trauma, this trauma that, no one wants to talk about, no one wants to look at, that happens to parents, to families, to individuals that are in these situations that really, they don't have the support. They don't know, they don't have a context for this experience. So they just soldier through. We soldier through. And yeah, and finally, I made all these changes in my life in 2012. Got divorced, ended up moving out with my kids, and things seemed to be, I was in an AA program, I had lots of connections, and things should have, realistically be getting better, and they were getting better. But I still felt like there was all this shit following me around. And that's when I, got the idea to start the podcast. And like, did any of you get this? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Have you felt this desperate? Has your soul been like on hold? Have you, put it on a shelf so you could survive? Have you done this? And yes, I got, while everybody didn't go into the depths of their own personal shit, I learned about the trauma piece. I learned how that impacts a human being on every level. And I learned that I needed to integrate that. And so that is a huge piece of why I want to do this podcasting workshop and share with you this amazing process. So that's a little glimpse of why your shit matters. My shit matters, and it really does. Because, yeah, I think I've been over it. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I think I got it all. Yeah, you don't want to create more suffering for yourself or for anyone else. And so this handhold of talking to new people in different, not new people from all over, has helped me tremendously. I believe it's helped other people and helped me be a better parent, to be more cognizant of what I'm doing, and to find ways to cope that are healthy. So that's all I got for today. That's a lot. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys so much, and please tune in tomorrow. And yeah, get ready for the event on next Friday. Have a great weekend. Love you.